we're gonna start with just warming up our hands, getting our muscle memory. Let me get a right pen. And let's go ahead and just go over our basic strokes. Too much shadow. Is that better? The lighting a little better there?
It looks good.
Okay. Okay, upstroke from bottom top using the tip of your pen. Downstroke from top to bottom, full pressure. Overturn stroke starts from the bottom left, light pressure over. Once you go over, you apply pressure. So light over, once you're over, then apply your pressure. Underturn stroke, full pressure release before the bottom, back up, light pressure. Let me do that again. Full release before the bottom, back up using the tip. We have our compound curve. Thin over, full pressure. Release before the bottom, back up with light pressure. Let me see. Okay. All right. Oval starts on the left side. Light pressure over, full pressure, release before the bottom, and connect where you started. Reverse oval starts on the right side, backwards, full pressure, release before the bottom, connect where you started. This is a smaller brush pen, so it's hard to perform the bigger strokes. Start in the middle, ascending loop, start in the middle, reverse backwards, full pressure down. And descending loop starts with full pressure, backwards, light pressure, stop in the middle. Okay, so that's just a little warm up. If you need to do more rolls and more strokes, feel free to do so. Of course, this is our advanced class. So those of you who have not joined my beginner class, I don't go over the full packet. I will take some time at the end of class to answer any questions you might have, but I do not go over the packet in details. This class is just strictly projects for our calligraphy. So with that being said, I'm going to jump right into this. Do I have any questions before we get started? All right. Okay, so this month we have letter G and the month of October to practice our worksheet. And we're just going to go right into it. So our first is our copper plate uppercase letter G. Starts with a stroke, what I like to refer to almost like a letter C. So this is our entrance letter C. Starts on the top left with the tip of your pen. Loop it over. and stop at the dotted line. And then you have your downstroke. So first off, let's review the first stroke. Here, if you can see here, you're going to go ahead and leave these 2 strokes very narrow. Actually, these 3 strokes right here. They're going to stay very parallel to each other. You don't want to open it too wide like the entrance stroke. So think of it more of a letter L. So you're going to hook it and go past the dotted line. So pretty much taking up the whole section, the whole double lines. So just using the tip of your pen, come back up, keep it near each other, and come back up. So you see that there's not too much space in between those 3 strokes. And with this downstroke, you're actually going to start with a thin little hairline. So just with the tip of your pen, just lay your pen down for count to about a second or 2. And then as you're coming down, apply pressure. And then right when you're getting to the bottom, release before the bottom. So let's do that one more time. So just let me explain that one more time. So very tip of your pen, 1, 2, full pressure backwards, release before the bottom, and exit with the very tip of your pen. So just here in this middle section is where you're going to have your heaviest downstroke. So let's put these together. Okay, so we have our uppercase G right there. Next, our lowercase g, entrance stroke, oval, descending loop with an exit stroke. Entrance stroke, oval, descending loop with a exit stroke. With the letter, so this section I reserved for a bounce letter. There's not really too much bounce to do with the letter G. So I just removed the entrance stroke, and instead of my exit stroke going up to the dotted line, I just added a little swirl to the exit. So if you're using the letter G in a bounce, obviously there's not much bounce you can do to it, but adding your own modern calligraphy touch. Okay, I'm going to switch over to a monoline pen. You can use a pencil or just a regular pen. With the letter G, the capital, okay, so this is a faux calligraphy, capital G, very similar to our first one, except there's an added exit stroke. To avoid cross strokes, if you would like to fill this in with color, you're going to start on the right side. So instead of crossing through, so creating a letter L shape, the little bit of space so that you can go back and add your second downstroke and then go backwards and add the tail at the beginning. So I guess behind the letter L. And see, you have your little open area on your G. And then same thing for this. So instead of when we loop it down to cross through, we stop before we go over. So here, down and stop. And then slightly trace, drop down, and overlap. So overlap the, go a little bit further from where you want your opening to be so that you don't see any harsh lines of disconnection. And then you add the tail past the opening. The G, I actually just loop it over twice. And when I loop it around the second time, I just make sure I leave an opening. And then the descending loop is the same thing. Drop down and then stop so that you can add your second line, keep it open, and add your exit stroke. And then of course, the reason I teach it this way is so you can practice if you would like to add some color. Can't see that blue too well. Okay, here in the next line is our little practice quote of the month. We have Hello Fall. And like I've mentioned before, you can always add bounce to any base height line. So what I mean is every time you want to practice bounce, start with your base height strokes. And of course you would want to sketch it out with a pencil and then go back and add a bounce where you feel bounces opposite. So this would be a good practice since it's straight across. Get some tracing paper and add a bounce to it later on. Okay, next we have October. ER is performed in one stroke to avoid any disconnection. And then these are all the strokes that fall into the word October. Okay, so here's our bounce. So that's what I was explaining here. So during practice, you want to start with straight word and then sketch out where you want your bounce so you can kind of see how it's every other letter and every word is different. So not every time you work on a new word or quote, these won't always be the same. It kind of like drawing your words to create a bounce look. Okay, we have October in Faux calligraphy. So here it almost reminds me of the first letter G. Looks like a letter L, but not looped through. So start here, keep it close, and when you do your second loop, cross it over the first stroke. Then you go back and add a second line to the outer loop. We have our extended form of October. Not as extended as our previous months, but extend with a long entrance stroke and a long exit stroke. So extend at the exit, extend the C. Just extend them instead of stopping right there, continue out to give it enough space. And then the last one is our Flourish October. So it's similar to the Faux Calligraphy October, but there's an added loop. So it starts all the way here in the middle, the O, loop it backwards, filling the whole top. And then you want your downstroke to go in twice and loop over the first line. And again, like the letter G up here, keeping them very close to each other. So I'm going to do it one more time without tracing. Loop covering the whole top, backwards, twice. That's hard without tracing. Here we go. So it's a little bit of flourish and a little bit of bounce here in this last one. Okay, so with the R, it's like a sideways letter L. And when you do flourishes, you want to keep your loops at an oval, not a circle. So this is no, we want it more of oval. And then the cross stroke with the letter T, loop it under and then cross it over the letter T. Any questions on this month's worksheet? Okay, so that was our warm-up. Let's go ahead, and what I want to do is the what is it? The attachment that we added to, I guess it was the online calendar. I just want to do this quote. I'm not going to do a table runner today, but I just want to continue on practicing with a just a little quote. And this is the one I'm talking about here. So if you have that in front of you, I just wanted to practice that. I know, who was it? Celeste. Last week when we did the placemat in last week's class, she actually did that quote and said that she was just going to attach it to an existing table runner she had. So I thought that was a good idea. And I just want to just go over that quote and continue practicing some calligraphy with you. Get a pen. Okay. Just thought it's a nice quote getting ready for the Thanksgiving season. And then we'll move on to our placemats. And then we will move on to our book covers. So it says, let me see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 8 lines in this quote. So on this K, it actually has a cute little doodle of some leaves. Remember, with calligraphy, we don't have to stick with the width that we want, so we can always go back and add a second line. I'm not going to add a second line to every single letter here, but just keep in mind that you don't have to stick with the thickness of the stroke if you don't like it. Go ahead and just draw it to your liking. Do a little leaf there. Ashley, are you there?
I'm here.
Hi. Oh, do you mind telling us a little bit about yourself, where you came from?
Okay.
What is your background?
Yes, I'm originally from Victoria, Texas. I worked at the library there. I was a library assistant there. I'm actually finishing my library master's in December, and it's got hired at Boulevardia. This is my first week. I'm very excited to be starting to be doing adult programming, and also be running the makerspace.
Oh, that's fun.
It's a lot of neat gadgets I get to play around with and get to learn, so I can show our patrons how to use them. Yeah.
And what is your specialty in art?
In art, I not much of
everything.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're still in the learning process?
Yes.
Okay.
I think as a librarian, you're like a lifelong learner. You're always learning new skills and
Yes. Learn something and then you get introduced to something else and then you want to learn that skill and continue on.
Pretty much, yes.
Okay. Well, nice to meet you again. Will you be joining us every calligraphy class?
Yes, I will be. I will probably be participating more, especially on the beginner lesson.
Okay. Oh,
Never
yeah,
done
for
calligraphy
sure.
before.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you missed last week's class. That's where I go in debt with the packet.
Yeah, I was looking at it earlier with Debbie this week, and oh man, I'm like learning so much stuff this week, and I feel like I'm on a information overload.
Oh yeah, your head's throbbing.
Mm.
I didn't like the way my you and the came out here. Also, class, you like I always mention to you, if always with practice with your pencil. So never hesitate to grab a pencil before you do a sketch or a new quote and figure out your placement. And I didn't do a pencil this time because this is more of a warm up before we go into our placemats. But like I said, always start with the pencil. That's my biggest tip. But yeah, Ashley, if you want to contact me before class, I can always go over the packet with you just to give you a few pointers. And then again, you kind of know more or less what's going on for next week's class. I mean, next month's class.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, they just threw me into everything this week, so it's all a
Yeah.
learning process.
Well, welcome to our library.
Thank you. I'm excited to start getting to know everybody a lot better.
Yes. We are definitely friends here. We have you'll start recognizing all of our friends of the library and see them come back to all our classes. And I just love it out here. Everybody's so friendly.
Yes, everybody I met so far has been very friendly and welcoming, which is nice because like I'm totally new to the area. So
Oh yeah. That's tough. Starting a new job in a new city, new town.
Yeah.
Well, my best wishes go to you and your new journey at the library.
Oh, thank you. It means a lot.
Okay, that's just a little quote that I thought would look nice on a table runner or even on the side of a placemat. Or like I always like to tell class that any quote that you come across, put it on a chalkboard, or like we've already tried glass our glass frames. Practice and get it into a frame. Really nice quote for the holidays. We're going to go ahead and move on to our placemats. I hope everybody was able to grab a placemat from the library, some butcher paper, or if you already have some. Okay, so if you didn't already grab a pre-cut placemat, and if you have your own roll of butcher paper, or you plan to grab your own, I just grabbed a placemat that I have on my dinner table, laid it out on top of my roll, and actually used my pencil and cut out a rectangle. Then I'm going to be using, let me see, a Sharpie pen. Wait. Oh no, I'm going to use my monoline pen because I have the Sharpie pen, but I think it'll be too thin. Or if you have a regular size Sharpie pen, which for some reason I don't have a black one, I have colored ones. Just to trace I'll try my best to get in frame as much as possible. Just using a standard paper plate. Have that there. Then, honestly, we just sketched out the utensils here on the side. Let me get that. Or let's see. Let's do the fork on this side. Or no, you know what? Let me do it with the pencil because it can get kind of crazy. So 2 parallel lines, curve it at the bottom. And then I noticed I kind of beveled the side of the fork. And then made 3. We could do 4. Fill it in. Let me trace it with the black pen. Next, a little spoon. And a knife. Okay, and on the top right hand side, we're going to do a little banner. Make some lines that say thankful for. So with the banner, you start with the main area. One more time. That's better. So I actually drew the lines on the each end before I drew the second line. Okay, and so at the end, hope you can see that. On the end, you're going to draw a line in the middle going out. On the bottom, a line going down and out. And then you're going to connect the end of the banner to the outside bottom corner. So cross it there. And then a V. So again, in the middle, down and out. And then cross corner to corner. And then color in that little corner we made below the banner. Okay, and then I'm gonna use my soft Tombow flexible pen and write thankful for. Let's do the cross the TH. Gotta write it small enough. To fit. And then about 3 or 4 lines at the bottom. Let's do 4 lines. There we go. So we have thankful for, and then one thing I forgot last week's class, you want to put the name of the person that's going to be sitting there. So let me do that and do some fall colors. Can't really see it. I have some colorful Sharpie. I noticed Sharpie works really good on these. I'm just going to do faux calligraphy here. And then I'm going to do a little doodle here in the corner. I don't know what that is. I just saw it on the placemat. I thought it was really nice. And then I'm going to use, this is just a basic chalk pencil. And then I'm just going to demonstrate a couple of leaves if you want to decorate the rest of the page. Another leaf on this side. And trust me, anybody can do these doodles. I am not an artist. These are just some doodles I pulled off Pinterest and went from there. So this is my finished placemat. Let me hold it. Okay, and next I want to move on. Let me know if everybody's done or if you need a little bit more time to finish. If not, I want to move on to some book covers. I'll give some time, everybody some time to gather their supplies. Today I'm going to cover the books with the paper you chose to cover. Make sure it's 2 inches on each side around an open book. So 2 inches all around. I'm going to just use a Sharpie. You can use wrapping paper, white butcher paper, or just write on the spine if that's the style you're going for. So I'm going to do, let's see. I'm looking at I want to do a Halloween theme before we move into, I wonder if y'all saw the one that I attached. This is a one from class. I thought this was a really nice one if somebody wants to do that one. But I want to do something like this just because we're still in the month of October and we already did our Thanksgiving theme. And that actually looks stamped. So if anybody's into stamping, that would be fun little project. Here's one of my covered books. And then I'm going to cover one on camera. Oh, and then of course, we have some twine to wrap it. So super simple. Start with just going through the steps, 2 inches on every edge, every side. When I made my cuts, I was able to mark my 2 inches, so that's a good guideline. Level it on both sides. And make a mark where you're going to fold the other side. So this one actually does not have a hard cover, so I'm just going to grab a few pages in the front and wrap it and tuck it. See that there? Just a handful of pages. Maybe grab some painter's tape something or washi tape that's not too sticky to hold those pages together. But of course, once the folds or the creases are in and the twine is wrapped around, no reason to open these books. It's all for decorations. Okay. Do one more book. Okay. There are 3 books here. Okay, so you can do it 2 ways. Now that we got all our creases down, you can actually take the book cover off and crease the edges so you know how your limit on your writing, or you can actually just write freehand here on the spine. So I'll show both ways. Crease them. So since this is a hard cover, maybe I can demonstrate the freehand. I'm going to write potions. What inspired me to do this, I saw a stack of books on Pinterest decorated above a fireplace. You know, some people like to decorate their fireplace according to the holidays. That's what inspired me to do this. Thought this was a nice little touch to holiday home decor. So this next one, I'm gonna take out, have my Mimit here. Do curses. So see how this is a flexible tip? I still go back and add a second downstroke. Or you can also choose to do all caps with using Faux calligraphy. I'm gonna do spells and brews. And of course, if you're not doing this in class right now and you choose to do it later, you can always use the pencil, the sketching method, pencil it in before you use a marker. I'm going to put my larger book at the bottom. There you have it.